Turbo, whopper, deadly. 3 words you can describe and quickly sum up the Fiesta ST.
Appreciate the sound, need to bring innovation.
It's the baby brother to the Focus ST from Ford, and this isn't the one with the nicer kit and bigger wheels. This is the full-on version, 1.5, 3-cylinder interestingly enough, with 200 brake horsepower. And today here on Albion Cars, we are going to take a pretty good look around it. Starting with the grille here at the front, it's quite like the ST pack that you can get on the Focus, but this one is grey because it's the real deal. Little red ST badge over the side here. This has the full-on LED headlights, super bright, really cool. And down here, these bits are also different and specific to the full fat ST version of the car. These are upgraded 18-inch alloy wheels. They are what a wheel should be. They are just gorgeous to look at. Graphite and bits of diamond cut on the sides, and these red calipers look absolutely savage. A few bits on the outside of the car also, so your keyless entry, you have little grooves in the door handles here, sweeping around to this really big and boy racer spoiler, because there's no point having a car like this and for it not to actually be like, yeah, this is something different. That's the whole point of it. Around the back then, another ST badge, twin exhausts down here, don't worry, what they sound like is coming up in a minute. And then around the back, it's just a good looking car from all angles. Cars like this, it's a case of go hard or go home. Get the different, more unusual looking colour. Get the bigger alloy wheels, because so many of these cars are made now where you can buy the kit and spec it onto a 1 litre and it'll look quite like this, but there's little subtle things that people who know will know. And that's the thing about hot hatches. And the boot is quite practical. Remember, if you're thinking of a Fiesta from days gone by, they're a lot bigger than they used to be. They've made it quite practical for things like little Velcro straps to secure things into place, the shopping bag holders, because, you know, when you're bringing a bag of cans home in a hot hatch, you need them to be very safe and secure. A couple of lights, and there's no spare tyre, so you're going to have to sort it out with some foam and compressors and stuff. But there's actually enough room there that if you wanted to get yourself some sort of a spare tyre yourself, you could. And the boot's all right, but come on, it's a hot hatch. It's not about the boot, it's about the engine. We're getting there.
Chasing the thrills. I'm having fun.
Now, if you're picking up your mates because you're the only one who can afford insurance and you're trying to show off, well, there's room for them in the back too in the Fiesta ST. And always remember, take off the child locks. That won't be very cool for your mates either. If your driver and passenger are extra long, the seat area is going to encroach in here. It's all right for small people, and it's not impossible, but it's a bit cozy, you know. There's no armrest. I don't think you're going to be fitting 3 people in here, so they could have put an armrest. You will get a third person, it's just not going to be very, very comfortable. Down there's a bit of a raise in the floor, not significant, so you will fit your feet either side. Without a glass roof, you can get it, it's an optional extra. It is all dark in here, but I kind of like it. It's cozy, it's enclosed, it's as a hot hatch should be. There's a couple of Isofix seats on either side. If you have 3-year-olds in your life who also like going fast sideways around corners, well then they'll be securely tucked into the car. There's a couple of pocket storage areas here which are very generous. There is no charging options down here, just a little pocket for sticking a mobile phone into, but you won't be able to charge anything in the back. The colour of the ST is Silver Fox. I'm not sure if that means you have to be one to be able to afford 29 grand on a Ford Fiesta. It's not just a Ford Fiesta. It's a great colour. If you're considering one of these, this and the kind of special blue, the Ford blue, but I think I'll go for this. As you sit in, you're going to love the Recaro seats. They come in all models, by the way, but they are snug. Now, I'm proud to say they're not that snug for me. Although, you know, but the thigh areas in particular, people have reported that they're just a bit snug on them, and the same on the sides. Again, just depends. Go to the gym, have a cool car. Don't go to the gym. Whatever you want to do, you'll fit, it'll be fine. They're heated, by the way, so they're very snug on a cold day. The ST steering wheel is chunky and big. Maybe a bit too big, but feels great. Alcantara here, Now, that would be a bit special. The screen is planted in the center of the dashboard. It's really big. The odd time it's a bit glitchy. If you have a cable plugged in for your CarPlay and you want to switch back to other modes that aren't involving the phone, it sometimes doesn't do much. So you press the button and nothing happens. It's the odd time you plug out your cable and it goes back in. In general though, it's fine. The graphics on it are pretty good, and it's fast on things like the nav. Plenty of practicality in the car, like places to hold your drinks. And up here there's a sunglasses holder, and many cars, more expensive cars, I'm not looking at you Golf, don't have that anymore. Climate control. There's auto, but there's 3 levels of auto with intense modes and stuff that can be changed at the touch of a button. Your heated seats are down here, your heated steering wheel and your heated forward windscreen, which means on a cold frosty morning you don't have to go back in and be late for work or college or wherever you're going to get a jug of water, because the windscreen heaters will do it in seconds. There's 2 USB charging points, one down here beside the gear shifter, one under the armrest, which doesn't slide and is quite small, but it still catches your elbow. You have a proper handbrake. Let's not go into it, you know what it's there for. And on your steering wheel, all your usual buttons are there, your cruise, your limiter, your volume adjustment. You can take and receive calls, and you can browse through the driver's instruments display menu from that button and bring you into everything, your trip computer, your average fuel, everything is there. There is a bit of fake carbon fibre throughout the cabin. It doesn't look cheap though, it's alright. A little bit of chrome strip here. The glove box is really usable. So the manual goes up here, and all this space can be used, including places to hold lock nuts. So scrotes can take your lovely upgraded alloy wheels. Room for a phone, 12-volt charger, USB, the second one in the car, and this polished gear shifter that is really small, direct, and just cool. And down here your different sport modes and track modes can be adjusted, your ESC can be turned off, and your stop start. One nice addition that would really complete the interior are some boost gauges. If they were here like the Focus ST, that would really complete it all. The techie stuff with the car is also cool and comes as standard, like the traffic sign recognition, the little door things that pop out that stop you hitting cars, or cars hitting off you also if you're both open in tight spaces, and it stops hitting off walls. You'll get blind spot on the car, and it's really, really good. And overall the spec on the car is excellent, but there is the performance pack on this car and you have to get it. There's no point getting an ST without getting it, for one massive reason, and that's the Quaife limited slip differential. And on this car, it's going to make it all the more fun. Listening to that never gets old. It might be a 1.5, it might be a 3-cylinder. You never even hear the fact that it's a 3-cylinder, and you'll hear it less if you hit the button down here that puts it into S mode, and then things crack and pop and become more fun, and you can hear an actual change in the exhaust note even at idle. Yes, I'm sure some of it has been pumped through the speakers to aid the whole experience, but it really doesn't matter. When you have the performance pack on this car, which, as I said, you really need to have a long hard chat with yourself if you're going, do I really need that or not? You do, trust me. And that will put extra grip to the outer wheel on a turn and just gives you so much more confidence going into a bend. The brakes that are upgraded also means you're very confident in your stopping power. And that short shift gearbox is very rewarding to drive. It's a fairly decent turn on the steering wheel, which means you can go from full lock with just a couple of twists. And it just grips to the road. I can't describe how much those Michelin Sports are sticking to the tarmac when you need them most. Around you go, straight back onto the power. For those of you who watched my review of the Hyundai i30N, that's exactly what this car is like. Yes, it's firm. There's only one kind of setting for that suspension, firm at all times. But then again, you're buying a car like this and then going to complain that "Oh, it's a bit bumpy over potholes." That's the point. If you aren't going for a spin alone, there's nothing for your passengers to grab onto. There's no grab handle for the front passenger, and I think they'll probably need one in this car. Three-cylinder car. What the actual... And despite all the power, 200 brake horsepower on tap whenever you need it, and you can rev this thing, bounce it off the limiter in second gear at about 80, 100 kilometers an hour, it will do 8.5 litres per 100 kilometers all day long. Now, you might say that's a bit high for a three-cylinder. If you drive it more casually and more sedately, and look, you're not going to do that, but if you did, it will return more fuel-efficient numbers. It will shut off a cylinder on motorway cruising and run on 2, which makes it even more fuel efficient. And on things like the M50, I have seen it then doing sort of 6 litres per 100 kilometres. It's not what you're going to buy this car for. And those bangs and pops, they'll never get old, and people will turn around as you drive by them and accuse you of being a boy racer hooligan. And maybe you will be a bit too grown up for that kind of carry on, because the €29,000 price, which is 10 grand dearer than a normal Ford Fiesta, but that's the one that Auntie Mary down the road drives to Mass on Sunday in, and this won't be confused with that, and that is the main selling point of the ST. It looks different, it drives different, it absolutely sounds different. But then if you needed to do things with a bigger boot and carry people to school or whatever, it can do that too. It smiles, and for a brand new car, €29,000, I don't think there's much else on that money. Yes, you can buy something used, of course you can, but for new, for 29 grand, for this much fun, this is proper hot hatch rawness, and in 2020 it's nice to be able to still have it. As someone who's owned Golf GTIs, I kicked the tires of a couple of Focus STs in my time as well. I just wasn't quite brave enough to bite the bullet on it. I nearly appreciate these kind of hot hatches more now than I did in my very early 20s, and I don't know why that is. They're just more fun. There may be an area that you're too grown up for, and that makes them even more appealing because you're going in the face of what everyone's telling you should be driving. But would I buy one of these if my kids, for example, were a little bit older, didn't need buggies and things like that? And don't forget, a Fiesta isn't as small as it was 20 years ago. I'd love to compare this to a Mark I Focus and see what the difference is, particularly interior space. The boot probably is a little bit smaller, but that's what I mean about buggies. If you didn't need them in your life anymore, this car would do it all. And starting with a 2, albeit just about, and we'll push it up to over 30, obviously, if you get that performance pack, which you have to do. Thank you very much for watching this review of the Fiesta ST. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. It's been great to get a Ford on the channel as well, and there's some more special ones coming, including the Ranger Raptor over the next few weeks. So if you're a fan of the Blue Oval, get subscribing for more videos. And as a famous character priest once said, I've had my fun, and that's all that matters. And that sums up the Fiesta ST.